we are not going to do this example right now. Okay? So, are there any questions on how to identify domain and range? Okay. Now we're gonna add a layer to it. Not a chance. Okay, try these two.
Well, we don't know what point.
They give us 5 on them.
They give you 5 here. What could you assume that this value is?
That is 0. I'm assuming.
Okay, go. It's on your sweater here.
She's really gonna need. That's why he's going all of it. Are you a 3-year-old right now? No, she is.
But you can find the first part of it. This is the second part.
Which one? Which one are you talking about? First?
Top of the range, but you can find the first part of it. Isn't this great?
What does that represent? Exactly. So does it go on forever? So what value are you finding?
On a school level. Then a smaller range.
How do you do this? Go on and on. What was it going to be? Or the point with the X? The arrows is right. Or yeah, the arrows is there a way that you can represent something bigger than equal to? Hey guys, girls, I see a lot of side conversations, particularly going on right here. I'm calling you out right now. Let's try to make this example a reality, okay? If you're unsure of what's going on, ask me. Alright? Domain is correct.
You can't find it. That's the answer.
Because it goes on forever. The arrows, it still goes up, but it also goes outwards.
Not for the second one though.
No, look. On the first one, y never goes below 0.
Mr. Dillon.
So that's it. It's 7 more.
Just put it. So people don't forget But yes, that's exactly right. Sorry?
Because I get the second one.
It's always greater than or equal to 0.
Okay, this is right.
See your parents.
Can you bear to me 2 classes?
Oh.
And the other ones are like the same.
You can't do that for this.
No, it's
Not ER.
Huh? You're confused? Are we stuck?
Yeah.
Okay, what do we know for sure for this first example? Let's look at this one for a second. Okay, it is continuous. How do we know it's continuous, Jared?
There's arrows.
There are arrows. The arrows are pointing in what way? Up, and that means it's also going where?
Up.
Up and up. It's going up and outward. If it's as soon as you think or you visualize and you analyze this graph and you say, I look at these arrows and they're going upward and outward, as soon as I say outward, is there a value for x that will never ever occur?
No.
Yes or no? How many people say yes? How many people say no?
No.
For x,
I say no.
I think
Somebody like that?
Sorry.
no.
Where were you?
I am medical cash. You just need headphones.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay, let me know next time. Yes or no?
for x,
Yeah, x, is there ever a value for x that won't occur in this graph?
No.
Yes,
No.
negative.
That's not true.
Oh,
These are
right.
negative.
Negative sign.
Okay? So you will always have a value for x as soon as you say outward. Okay? So your domain stays the same. X is a member of the real numbers, because there will be never a number that won't work for x.
So that E means member?
Member of. Or x is any real number. X can be any number. Sorry?
For that?
No, you don't need any number for that. As soon as you see arrows, I don't care where it's at. For domain and range, you can just put that in, okay? Now the range is a little tricky. Because we said that the arrows are pointing in what direction? Up. Is there any point where they point downward?
No.
No. So there must be a minimum value. What is the lowest point of y
Zero.
that you can have? So 0. So I'm going to put that 0 here. What variable do we deal with when we're dealing with range?
Y.
Y. And if I have a minimum value, guys, girls, does that mean y is going to be bigger than or less than 0? Does it equal 0? Does it include 0?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. That's my range.
Wait, how do you know if it's that?
Again, you just told me, is it a minimum or a maximum value?
Zero.
0 is a minimum, so everything else has to be bigger. So the Pac-Man has to be eating the bigger value, which is the y. If I gave you, Jono, a graph that looked like this, does 0 become the minimum or the maximum value? No, still on the same, the first example. What if I gave you this graph? What does 0 become? The minimum or maximum? It becomes the maximum. How does this change?
Does it go more than or less?
The sign flips, that's it. Okay? As soon as it becomes a maximum, that means y can't be bigger than 0.
The green line, not the red
Okay,
line.
go ahead, Madison.
What's the E for?
E represents any real number. Or any number, or is a member of. It's again, mathematicians are lazy. If they don't have to write out a full sentence, they won't. They'll put a symbol for it. Make sense?
So what does it mean?
On the first graph,
Is a member of
Yeah.
is the formal term.
0 is the maximum
Like
on the
X is
y-axis.
X is a member of the, and then R, which represents real numbers. Okay? Or it just represents X is any real number.
0 is the
X is
maximum for the y-axis on that graph.
Okay, I want you to try this one now. Try the curveball with now when you have a value of 5 in the X or the Y value, okay? Try to represent the domain range for that one. I want everybody to try it. I want Jake to get off his phone. Is X, that tells me X is.
Wait, we're doing it for the green line.
That tells me Y.
I already did number 2.
That's what I told you.
Oh, I just erased it.
Why did you put 0? Do I have any points? If I said X was negative 5. If I said X was negative 5, is there a point like that?
The baby. So this will look like a green person, but this will look like
X could be negative 5, you can do that side, right? Right? As soon, but where is my start point? My start point is at having a root, X is equal to 0.
We're doing the second one.
Now, that goes smaller than 0. X.
X is not a member of the real numbers.
Mr. D, I'm just gonna run downstairs for 1 second.
The arrow goes both ways. It's a linear function. Is that a linear function? No, it's not linear, it's curved. The arrow goes in one way. So that means there's a start. Arrows,
That song, right?
linear. Two arrows in the curve.
That was such a good song.
very great for grandma.
You guys have a question?
That was such a good song.
Like she had a big appearance here, and she was
Yeah, good.
she doesn't know much anymore. Miss Paul knows a lot more than Zita.
No.
I actually have it in my phone.
Okay, guys, girls, what is my domain for this example? Okay, guys, girls, what is my domain for this example?
0.
0. There is going to be a 0. Why is there a 0 included in this?
Because x starts at a 0.
Thank you. I have a start point. Where is my start point on the x-axis? At 0. Okay? I only have one arrow going one way. That means I had to have started somewhere. In this case, x is equal to 0. Domain deals with the x variable. In what way, what direction is the arrow pointing towards?
Positive.
To the positive direction. Does that mean that x is going to be bigger than or smaller than 0?
Bigger than.
Does it equal 0?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm done. What about range?
5.
Okay, there's a 5. I deal with the letter y. What direction is the arrow pointing? Up or down?
Up.
Pointing up. Does that mean that y is going to be bigger than 5 or less than 5? It'd be bigger. Can it include 5?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. How are people feeling about domain and range? Better than what they did to start?
Definitely.
Okay. Again, I've had this conversation to a couple people because they've been asking, well, what happens with, so is there rules about shapes? Is there rules about this? Is there rules about that? Domain and range for grade 10 this year, Mitchell and Zach, is that you're only going to be needing to know or work on this and focus on it when you are given a linear function. So a line. When you are given a line graph, gentlemen, that's when you're going to be dealing with domain and range. The easiest one you're going to see is when you're given an equation. As soon as you are given an equation that looks like this, for example, all equations, unless otherwise stated, are continuous functions. Okay? So, for example, hi.
John needs people to renew math textbooks when you get a chance, because you get them all year, they need to be renewed. Oh, never mind.
There you go.
Library books then.
Okay? For this example, y is equal to x minus 1. Anytime I give you a piece of data in the form of an equation, unless I tell you that this is specifically the domain, unless I tell you specifically that the domain is a set of numbers, you can assume that your domain and range is going to be the first form of x is a member of the real numbers, y is a member of the real numbers. Okay? So now all we're doing, yeah, go ahead.
Can you please explain why this is wrong for that example you just gave?
What's my minimum value for this example? For y, when I'm going up or down.
And then like 5,
What's my minimum value?
5,
5. Is there anything, is the arrow pointing up or down?
5.
Up. Is there any number, so does that mean all the numbers are going to be bigger than 5 or smaller than 5? Bigger. If I said y is equal to 0, is there a point on the graph? No, that's why it has to be at 5. Make sense? If I give you an example like this, and I ask you, because the next layer to this domain and range piece is I give you an equation, I ask you to fill in your table of values, and then I ask you to graph, and then I ask you to give me your domain and range. What I'm going to do for you right now is I want you to give me these 4 units. I'm going to give you your domain, okay, or the examples used for your table of values. So I want you to fill in the table of values. So fill in the y values. I want you to plot your graph, and I want you to tell me what the domain and range is. I want you to use the domain as it's an equation, so it's a continuous graph. It is a continuous function. Your domain and range should be easy to come up with. I want everybody to try this one to start, okay? Go ahead.
Puts it in Jared's pocket.
Are you guys 5 years old?
Jake is.
You're pretty quick to throw them in the sun. Okay? I don't appreciate that, guys. I'm sure I would be pissed if you took my phone.
Why is X minus one?
Missed call from his mom. No, I wasn't.
Okay, fill in your table of values. Plot your graph. Now remember, I'll start one for you because I did not explain this. When you're given an equation like this, how do I find the value of y? I literally just substitute my value for x with the number I'm given. So in this case, I have -4. I go -4 minus 1. If I owe Madison $4 and I ask for another dollar, how much do I owe her? I owe you $5. If I owe you $4 and I say, Madison, can I bum $1 from you? I now owe you $5. Okay? You're substituting the x for the value that you're given. Okay? Yep, it would be. Yes, you do. Graph it, plot it, and then give me the domain and range.
Oh, wait, so this is never ending.
Just you're doing something more or less like that, right?
Yes, it should be the linear function. Okay, and then give me your, so connect them because I'm saying it's a continuous function. If it's a continuous function, what do you have to do to the ends? Good.
This is so bad.
It's hard, when you have to draw, guys, girls, when you have to draw anything on, in like an assignment or an assessment or anything, I will give you the graph paper so we can be a little bit accurate. I know that this is going to be tough to draw accurately, okay? This is how it is. Now give me the domain and range.
Eric, you're not putting that on my sweater. That's not happening, my grandma
Is it?
gave me that sweater.
I don't think that it needs to be that sewed.
You didn't make it.
Brianna, how are you getting along? Good?
Yeah. It's the third one.
You got something against your ankles now?
It's a continuous function. So,
How's it continuous? Because you just gave us those five.
I'm telling you that anytime that there's an equation, in this example, I'm saying that it will go on forever. Yeah, all equations. I just picked because you could literally do this table of values forever, right? You could do that and go on and on and on and on, and you would just be continuously doing table of values. And there's no point to it, okay?
Expanding
Yes,
the
sir. You domain and range?
That's quite an escalation.
That's
Get
where
rid of the Y.
It's a continuous function. It's a continuous function.
So it's the first
Oh.
one. Okay, that's why I put it on the end. Actually, the first one.
What? It's not this
First one,
one.
I told you.
Did you ever watch
No, my object, this.
No. Here,
Well, yeah, that's what all.
I need to show you.
Is that what?
No, this one here is not a continuous function. Why is it? It has one arrow.
Flag.
Oh, there's two arrows?
Yes. This one is a continuous function. However, it is not a straight line. It's not a linear.
Oh, look at that, look at.
This, when you draw it, should be a linear continuous function. Can we fill in the rest of this? What is the rest of my table of values? -5, -3, -1, 1, and 3. How do I plot these? I treat them like
They're gone.
their coordinates. Thank you. What's my first coordinate that I could use? Exactly. -4, -5. Wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next one is -2 and -3. Next one is 0 and -1. Next one is 2 and 1. Next one is 4 and 3. If I were to connect these, would I make a line? Yes, all equations, especially if I, for now, all linear equations. This is a linear equation, and I'll tell you why when we talk about slope, and we talk about what that formula looks like, this is a linear equation. As soon as I give you a linear equation, you can draw a line. Okay? Does anyone remember why I choose the thicker marker?
So you can cover all the.
You can cover all the points, okay?
So
What marker or what utensil should you be using to draw graphs in your assessments? Dull pencils. I do not want to see pens used as your graph. Okay? If you have a sharp pencil, you improvise. Okay? I'm not going to critique you if you don't use a dull pencil. I'm just suggesting it gives you a better. You're more likely to catch it all. Yep.
Color it in.
I wouldn't color it in because then that loses the integrity of the line. Basically, coloring it in runs the risk of people doing this. Okay, that doesn't look like a line, right? Make sense? Rico's like that. I don't know what you're talking about. It's a great line. Okay, so the arrows indicate what type of line this is.
Linear.
It is linear, but it's also starts with a C.
Continuous.
Continuous. As soon as I say it's continuous, guys, girls, what is my domain and range?
X, E, R, Y, S.
Domain is equal to X is a member of the real numbers. Y is a member of the real numbers. Are there any questions on this piece? Okay? For now, yes, we are going to finish up the rest of these probably next week. I won't do that to you because I promised I'd give you some time in class. Is there any other questions on the example we just did? So remember, hey, continuous functions, if I give it to you in an equation, it'll always be continuous, alright? Unless I tell you otherwise.